Sam Seder has been bonking on Dave Rubin for quite a while now, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way. It's always really, really fun to watch because Sam Seder, he's obviously got a lot of clout. And so when he goes on Twitter and trolls Dave Rubin, and then you go to Dave Rubin's tweets, and there's just reply after reply saying debate Sam Seder. I mean, it's truly a beauty and just glorious to watch. Absolutely glorious, man. Just complete glory, utter glory. And we talked about Dave Rubin, who was doing this interview in, I actually forget which country it was. It might have been Australia, but I might be wrong on that. And he's with Jordan Peterson. I'm convinced this guy can't stay away from Jordan Peterson for longer than 24 hours until he starts just frantically checking his bank account, thinking all of his money's gone. It's really crazy how much Dave Rubin is an expert at riding coattails, because remember what Dave Rubin did with Sam Harris. Remember, when his show first launched independently, he was riding that Sam Harris wave insanely hard. He was doing interviews with him. His entire show revolved around the controversy that came with that interview with him. And then he ditched Sam Harris once his steam ran out, which his steam is effectively gone. There's still some there, no doubt, and that's why we talk about him from time to time, because he'll say something that's worth, discussing. But certainly not what he used to have. And he's basically ditched him. Now, the gravy train relies upon Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro. So if you look at all of his interviews, the view counts are shit compared to what he gets on his Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro ones. So he's with Jordan Peterson. I got off on a little tangent there. So Sam Seder and Michael Brooks. Sorry, I was going to say Sam Seder and Dave Rubin. Sam Seder and Michael Brooks actually dunked on Dave Rubin because his argument for saying that people aren't oppressed is busting out an iPhone, which I got one right here too. That they're not oppressed, so they're gonna dunk on this. Check it out.
I don't.
Well, hey. Not only I'm looking. In fact, I am looking this up right now because I did want to buy your Logic kit. And I believe China has the third highest concentration of cell phone use in the world.
They're
one.
super non-oppressed.
Yep.
Super freedom.
Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia.
Ultra freedom.
I'm trying so hard. Russia's up there.
If you've got a telegraph in your community, you're not oppressed.
Well, I don't know the number, but I know that a lot of Venezuelans have cells. So
okay,
devastating.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to understand what point is he trying to make?
He's so dumb. He's saying it's like the same argument as oh, poor people have refrigerators now, so they can't complain about anything ever. If you have access to certain consumer goods, which are now very cheap to produce, you can't complain about economic or political oppression.
Out of every 4 of Dave Rubin's tweets is how YouTube is unsubscribing people from him. And we'll get to that because, but literally, every third tweet he puts out is a complaint to YouTube that he's being oppressed, that his subscribers are being underdone, or that Patreon is not doing it right, or the technology companies are. But go ahead.
Of 2 generations.
Do you think they're both looking at him and I just wonder what's going through their head? Peterson's just I'm making so much money, it doesn't matter that I
don't
get to
fuck this
guy.
up for me.
Yeah, and the other guy's going oh my God. Jesus, how many followers does he have on YouTube? My Lord, what's going on in America? Good.
No meaning, and they put it all into this really competing set of ideas.
Yeah, so this argument is ridiculously stupid, and I think that, the combination of the argument of having an iPhone, which they actually brought up a point I didn't think of, which was that people actually have phones in countries. So I don't know what the phone rate is in Saudi Arabia, for example. But to say that, there's no oppression in Saudi Arabia is, that's a no-go zone, as Jordan Peterson would say. That topic of discussion is an absolute no-go zone, because that's obviously stupid. We know all the oppression going on in Saudi Arabia. Again, I don't know what the rates are, but I'm sure people have cell phones in Saudi Arabia, okay? I'm sure people have smartphones in Saudi Arabia, and there's a bunch of other countries that people have phones in. But again, as I discussed last time, and this is a point that Roaming Millennial tried to debunk, which is that there's no systemic oppression going on in the United States, which is completely false. Because systemic and institutional, what that means is there's no laws on the books doing this, but it's an expression of the political and social institutions that exist in the United States. So when the Booker Report comes out every I forget how many years it is, I think it's 4 or 6 years, and it tells us, and we see other studies doing this too, like literally every year there's multiple studies that come out telling us, saying a black person is more likely to get a harsher sentence for the same crime. That's controlling for all factors. A black person is more likely to get a charge in the first place that is one that carries a federal mandatory minimum sentence. A judge is more likely to give leeway to a white person. These are we see these consistent results in all of the studies that come from the Booker Report, whether it be, I read a Michigan study, I think it was from the University of Michigan, that was done by, I don't know, I forgot what department it was there. But it's just study, and we see these, and there's also, it gets even deeper than that, man, because we're talking about, there are studies that say that if you have a black-sounding name, and these use actual examples, by the way, these are studies, these are facts. There were studies done that showed that if you have a black-sounding name, you're actually less likely to get a callback in comparison to a white person who has either the same record as you or even a tad bit worse. There were occasions in which if the white person had a tad bit worse of a record, they would actually get the job over the black person with a more black-sounding name. They wouldn't get a callback, that's how deep the bigotry lies in the American people and in the United States. And how could you possibly make the argument, dude? We're like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, okay? And there's still oppression that's been going on in terms of the voting booth against people of color. But, 1964, right? We're like 60 years out from that, okay? 60 years after hundreds of years of oppression, and the United States has a history. They weren't just supreme dicks to black people. They were supreme dicks to originally the Native Americans. Then you had the Chinese Exclusion Act, bro. They literally banned Chinese people from coming into the U.S. They banned them. And I think they only let that up during World War II. So it's like, Jesus Christ, this runs deep, man. It runs deep. And literally every single new group of immigrants that came, whether it be Chinese people or, I think it was like Irish who were just like shat on. This country is a fucked up place, and it has been for a long time, and we've got a long ways to go. So this argument is really dumb. And then did your grandparents have it better than you? Or, that whole thing is very stupid. That doesn't mean anything. It's just logically unsound for very obvious reasons. Just because your grandparents didn't have it worse than you, doesn't mean that you don't face problems today. But the iPhone argument was a really dumb one. Now, they actually get into something really funny here, which is that Dave Rubin, amidst saying all this crap, is himself claiming oppression. So check this out.
Here is Dave Rubin, again, claiming to be oppressed by YouTube on Twitter. Portion of an email I just received from a viewer who I've gotten to know personally, who is a highly competent VC guy, not a bot or a fake account. And he writes, Hey Dave, hadn't seen your videos in a while, search for them on YouTube, and sure enough, I was no longer subscribed to your channel. I am 100% sure I did not unsubscribe. Why would I do that? This is getting creepy, and this is not the first time either. I also found that I was unsubscribed from, and then he cut that off. So maybe it had a problem to do with him, but Dave makes it about himself. Hi, Team YouTube. Getting more of these than usual. I would be happy to email you, but I don't have a human contact at your company after 6 years and almost 1 million subscribers, despite constant unsubscribes. This is the biggest whiny, self-oppressed. I've never seen this. And then it all becomes clear on Dave Rubin's Reddit. I'm the one sending bullshit emails to Dave about not being able to watch his videos on YouTube in case anyone's wondering, laugh my ass off.
Is that you, Sam?
No, it's not me.
That's a genius. That's
If you're a
Yeah.
listener,
Hero
though,
of
well
our
done.
There you go. That's why, Dave. That's a mystery solved. That's why you're getting more than usual, because there are people on Reddit who are making fun.
If you have a YouTube channel and you think you're
But-
not oppressed, you're very confused.
Exactly, right? Like, this guy's so talking
If you have
about
a
how...
phone, you're not oppressed. If you
There's
have a
no-
YouTube channel, likely you are.
Exactly. It's unbelievable how this guy moves through the, like, just the world.
Right. So this was something that I actually did a video on, because basically what happened is Dave Rubin, and it's so annoying because he, like, as they said, he literally tweets out every other day saying, "Hey YouTube, why are you unsubscribing people from my channel? Here's an email from somebody who's totally not a troll." And then 30 minutes later, someone sends another email because the dude tweeted about an email, and then he's getting trolled even more. It's like, stop acting like your channel. It's like when Jimmy Dore thinks that YouTube unsubscribes 150K subs a year. Are you fucking crazy, man? There's no evidence of that because it's not happening. Dave Rubin, people aren't unsubscribed. YouTube's not unsubscribing people from your dumbass channel. And it turns out it was his own subreddit trolling him. It was his own subreddit sending him emails. People from his own subreddit sending him emails saying, and they're super overt too. I don't even know if you're Dave Rubin, your troll siren should be going off. You're like, wee woo, like, it should be going off. The dude said, "I never have missed a video of yours since like 2011. Really, bruh? Really? Come on, dog. Come on, bro. No, just stop. Just stop, dude. There's no way that you can't see that, dude. What a fucking noob. What a noob, man. But this was absolutely hilarious. Again, we always enjoy dunking on Dave Rubin here. It will forever be a staple of this channel because he's just such an easy target. He's so dumb, and it's so much fun.